Hey guys, Tyro here. Welcome back to the Classic Cars Championship. This time for the penultimate round now at the Japanese Grand Prix. And as you can see by there on the screen, for the first time now in this championship, it's actually going to be a wet start to a race. I mean, I've had it on dynamic weather for the entire championship so far, but the weather's finally decided now this time to play its part. And I don't know what effect that can have on the race, because we've seen the gap between the fast cars in terms of aero and the engine is fairly big anyway. It would be more of a disadvantage for the older cars. It would be the 2002 Ferrari that takes its second pole position in a row, with the 2004 Ferrari in second. We somehow managed to get into P3 in a dry qualifying, I should say it was as well. Then we had the Brawn in fourth, then the 2008 McLaren, followed by the Williams and the 2007 Ferrari, with the 98 McLaren this time taking honours in C2. So I think that's the first time it's actually took pole in C2. And so here you've got the Red Bull starting in 8th place overall in class. It's got to find its hands in this race. Also the slower cars here, like these McLaren Hondas in C2 and then down with the C3 cars as well. They're going to be quite a bit slower than they already are given the wet conditions, and they might cause quite a few because we're going to be catching up to them so quickly you might not even be able to see them in time with some of the crashes that happened in the previous rounds before. Now then, we're starting in P3, which, like I said, I don't know how I got here because this track should be one of the weakest for my car in terms of how good it is, because it hasn't got the best aero towards the newer cars and it hasn't got the strength and speed to match the older cars. So I don't really know how I got this high up the grid, but maybe the rain will actually help me get stuck. You know, this Renault goes absolutely nowhere in first gear. Need to hope that maybe with the wet conditions and all the other cars not having traction control, so maybe might be some kind of help when I come into the fire red lights to the start of the Japanese Grand Prix. Lights down and we go after a very long hold, I'm pretty sure that was. The Brawn gets a blinding start. They're going to go side by side now. We're trying to split the two Ferraris. Now she goes side by side with the lead. And now the Brawn takes the lead now of the race. Coming into turn 1. We're being swamped though by all the other cars. But crucially though, we're still at the back though of C1. Not being overtaken by any of the C2 because they're being forced off the track there. Got the 98 McLaren looking at the other side line. Of the Ferrari there. The Ferrari just manages to hold on. So we've not lost all the places in C1 at least. Actually, there's a bit of contact there, and the 92 Williams round, one of the championship contending Williams is now off of the track now into the Grove Trap, and thankfully though, it manages to get itself going again. But one of the championship contending cars in C2 now finds itself basically now at the back of the grid and has it all to do, and in the wet conditions as well. That's going to be a task and a half, much like what the Red Bull has here in front of us in the C1. The pace gaps between the cars in C2 are more noticeable, so it should get back to at least second place. Now someone's already out of the race. Okay, they didn't last very long, did they? But it's not the Williams though. I don't think it is anyway, because we saw them get going. So unless they've got some kind of damage, it's a horrible tank slapper there. Now with the hairpin, which Kirby actually made rather famous back in 2010. Now then we've got the 2007 Ferrari looking very racy up behind. Of course, that thing it's been an absolute steroid so far the championship. It was so dominant in the earlier rounds. Well, running a bit wider through the spoon corners, getting a warning left track limits, because still just trying to find the limits of this car. Because this is the first time I've actually driven this Renault in any form of wet weather. So yeah, pretty much just thrown right into the race, into the rain, and I've just got to try and get used to it. We were pulling away a bit from that Ferrari, so I don't really know why, because the Ferrari is a faster car just by a little bit. It is crucial though, a faster car now into the final corner chicane now for the first time. We've got the Red Bull here, still has a car in front of us, which now has one of the other championship contending cars now, the BMW Williams, as a car in front of it now. These two completely polar opposites of each other. The Red Bull great through the corners, not the best down the straights, and the Williams pretty tragic through the corners, but the screaming BMW V10 engine in the back of it, enough to pull it away into turn 1. He goes a little bit defensively, but he's able to hold the line. And coming through this the first half of lap really, just let alone the first sector here, through the center S's. The Red Bull is going to be so much quicker than that Williams, but he's just got absolutely nowhere to go to get past it, because he needs to go for a do or die move around the outside line, which he could just end up in these conditions at least, just sliding off into the wall, into the gravel, probably even both, going at speeds like this through the S sector here. And for the Red Bull, he's just going to be patient for the time being. Of course, no DRS for any of these cars, even when we get to the dry conditions. The Red Bull though, if you had a better lap in qualifying, you actually started from a normal place, it could have been up in front here with the Williams, so it could have been so much different for that Red Bull, but it just doesn't really look to be so far. As we come now back under the bridge there for the halfway point now of the line, we're coming back now into the hairpin. Well, unfortunately we do have to go into first gear, so the car's just going to absolutely die in corner exit, but hopefully we can get a better exit than what we did last time. And yeah, that was definitely a better exit. Still wasn't the fastest in the world, because the Red Bull confront just leaves us for dead once again. Appreciate that we haven't got the the proximity arrows behind us for the Ferrari. So we're pulling away still from the F2007. And the Red Bull here is going to get so frustrated. Looking like the BMW Williams is in title contention, so we're going to be putting it up now even more of a fight. I'm pretty sure it's the Red Bull that leads with the Williams in second as well, just to make it even more intense between those two. You can't even see the, well, can't see a lot behind us anyway. You definitely can't see that Ferrari behind us now. And we actually go green through second, but then again it is the second lap of the race, so we should be going a lot faster here through the second sector this time. Now looking a bit further in front from us to the McLaren Mercedes, which looks like it's having a pretty good showing for probably the first time ever in this championship, really. It looks like it's keeping up pretty well with the Ferrari in front of it, but down the straight it's got absolutely no hope. And then you've got the Williams still doing all it can to defend from the Red Bull Renault into turn 1. See that all the cars still taking what is the racing line, just the Williams is going a lot slower over it than what the Red Bull could be doing if it was unleashed from behind that Williams. And once again through the S sector now, there's absolutely no way here. I'm pretty sure the Red Bull are just pretty much pushing the Williams through the S's at that point, because it's so much faster than the Williams. There's just literally nowhere though they can actually make the overtake. Now moving though onto lap 6, so 3 and a bit laps further on, nothing much really has happened. We've still got the Red Bull in front of us, which is still stuck up behind the Williams, although we have completely dropped the Ferrari, so now it's got some kind of car issue here as we've completely dropped off the face of the earth at this point. And the Red Bull's still all over the back of the Williams. And maybe now, as the track is starting to dry out a little bit actually, although it seems to be quite a lot of mist still, so could still be quite a bit treacherous yet. But now coming up into 130R, so we're actually quite a bit down there on the best time. And as the track's starting to dry, so that pretty much means it's going to be time to come in now for a set of the dry tyres. Because if you're down on your best lap in Intis and you haven't made any mistakes, that's when you know the track's getting too dry. And you need to come in now for the dry tyres. So the two cars in front of us should also go into the pit lane, indeed, which they do. Now can this be where the Red Bull gets in front of the Williams? Now can we even do anything to gain space? We've got the Williams got the first pit box, Red Bull got second, and we got the third, so no advantage or disadvantage really to be gained here with the pit boxes. And we actually get held though for the Red Bull, which I'm pretty sure is actually held there for the Ferrari as well, so the Ferrari has been absolutely nowhere. Now it's the first time it comes back on screen in a while. It's like the Ferrari is absolutely nowhere in this race, and we lost quite a bit of time there to the Red Bull in front of us, but not as much time here as the 2004 Ferrari. I'm pretty sure that one is, but somehow the Ferrari had a horrific pit stop and has now come out behind us. That Ferrari was in what, 3rd place, and now it's in 7th. I have absolutely no idea what Ferrari have done wrong to lose that many places for that car, but well, the 04 Ferrari starting the championship fight anyway, so it's not going to make all too difference, but it just gives more points to the cars in front of us now. We got a bit of a gap over the Ferrari, so maybe we can try and keep it. Although the Ferrari did still qualifiers anyway, though. Now coming in through this section now, once again the Red Bull still all over the back of the BMW Williams now as we come now into the two lanes. Actually got quite the queue of cars here. What's going on here? We've got one of the C3 Ferraris, and then we've got the 95 C2 Ferrari, holding up now the McLaren Mercedes, and just a whole gaggle here of C1 cars. What are those two cars doing still? How did they end up in front of us now? We've come now into the hairpin, and it's the McLaren that leads clearly. And honestly, that's probably the only thing the McLaren Mercedes has ever led in this championship so far. Now what it has done now is bunched up everyone, or just completely, and there's not going to put the two Ferraris behind us now. Pretty much back within contention, really. I don't know what those two cars were doing. Why were they there anyway? Surely they mustn't have pit, but even though we're coming up to lap already, I mean, it is about time where cars do start getting lapped. But I don't know why we're lapping the 95 Ferrari already. That thing's not really that slow, is it? Well, I didn't think so, at least, anyway. But then we've got the 2002 Ferrari makes a move up the inside of the McLaren Mercedes, so just with that extra, just how much faster it is in terms of straight line speed. And then into the final corner chicane. Can the McLaren have any fight back down the straight? I highly doubt it. And it's going to be coming under pressure pretty soon as well from the Williams behind it. And that Ferrari now with a great sounding engine is just streaking away into the good. It's got better acceleration, better straight line speed as well. Of course, through the S section here, the Ferrari will be slower. As you know, talking slower, they've got the 78 Lotus now in front of them. Now it's going to hold up the cars now in the worst point of the track. Can the McLaren make the move through? And the McLaren does make the move past, but do the other cars get through? No, the Williams gets held up here behind the Lotus. Of course, Williams are his two classic names in Formula 1, and this is not the kind of classic Lotus you want to be following, especially when you're in championship contention. Now you can just see more points in front of you. The McLaren Mercedes, which is a such slower car in terms on this track anyway, is just getting absolutely stuck in that Lotus because I absolutely care less about getting out of the way. Look, we've got an absolute Lotus train here. there's 2 Lotuses in this race out of the 20 cars, and now this one is causing a massive traffic jam here. Look, we've got the Williams and the Red Bull, then ourselves and the Renault, and then the 2 Ferraris now on the back of this queue of cars, and finally the Lotus gets out of the way. But that's going to throw a massive spanner in the works now, possibly for the outcome of this race. Now we go defensive to this line, go for a dive on the inside line here of the Red Bull. Of course, both are still both Renault powered cars, but then again our car just dies in first gear, and the Red Bull manages to put itself back in front of us. Now he gets held up here behind one of the Ferraris, eventually making a move around Aston. Now goes 3 wide, possibly with the Ferraris. We're getting a bit of argy-bodgy there between the 3 of them. We managed to make the move though on the Red Bull, crucially, because he got boxed in behind. But now then, can that Red Bull hold off the might of the 2004 Ferrari behind here? You've got Jones in the Red Bull behind us, see if that name changes. And we've got Alex Murray now, who sets the fastest lap of the race. I'm pretty sure that's the Brawn. Because let's face it, the Brawn is just completely gone at this point now, as Jones has now been overtaken by, I'm guessing, the 2004 Ferrari. And as we come now into the final corner chicane now for the 8th time of 27 course. This is also something I want to mention. It's a 50% race this time. I've upped the race distance as well, so we can have some pit strategy even without the rain to come into play. And down the straight, do you have any answers for Ferrari? Oh, goodbye 2004 Ferrari. That is just supremely, just stupidly quick in straight line speed. How does the cars just, I mean, yes, my car's got a V8 in it, because the cars was slowed down in 2005 with the regulation changes, but that Ferrari just stupidly fast in straight line. Actually, I see why they made the changes now. Something that fast should not be allowed just to streak straight back past me like that. We're here 3 jet section. You can see we're actually gaining back though on the 04 Ferrari, because we've got more downforce with a 2 year newer car. Possibly trying to look there for the line there, Ranios had, but nothing come with that. But now we've got the Red Bull behind us, and now there's quite a bit of separation now between the Red Bull and the Williams up front. Now that we actually go Pelko there through the first lap today, and that's not really a surprise because it's only the 2nd lap on dry tyres. It's going to be pretty much a kind of happy hour at the moment now for fastest laps of the race. Now as we come now into the hairpin, try and get Nathan there. We missed the apex there a little bit, going a little bit late on the brakes. Once again, the car absolutely dies in first gear, which gives the Red Bull now a chance to try and go around the outside line now. As we're coming now, it's Andreas now down into Spoon. The Red Bull's got the inside line, but we just about managed to keep it here on the racing line. They're coming into Spoon 1 and going to try and hide around the outside line, which you do. The Red Bull, they actually backed out, surprisingly. I mean, the Red Bull, it's the car with the better aero, and just a better car in general, really, than our Renault. We just managed to have the balls to stick it around the outside line there. And once again, the Red Bull coming up down into 130 and trying to move around the outside line. They can't quite do anything there, as we're actually now 7 seconds up on our previous best laps. That's really shown there. Actually, there's a car in the wall, and now we're now into P5. I think one of the C1 cars there is retired. Can't quite see which one it was, but now looking at a replay here, was it the McLaren? Or there is a car in front of it as well, so I think it might be one of these 2 cars. Because yeah, we've got the 72 Lotus there, going down into 130. This is a place where you don't want to be catching slower cars. And then the McLaren tries to go for the headline, just smashes into the back of the Lotus and lost off his wheel. And that's the McLaren done for. I don't know what the McLaren was thinking there, quite honestly. And looking back now to the live action here, we've got the BMW Williams, which has somehow managed to make itself get in front of the 2002 Ferrari. I have no idea how, but now they're both being held up now by a McLaren Honda. This isn't the McLaren Honda from 2017 of Carbon Jordan from my Uni 1 career. This is the 88 one, so this will be Senna's and Prost McLaren's Honda. Of course, that car had a pretty famous race on this track. I'm pretty sure it was on. I'm pretty sure it was the 88 McLaren. It could have been the 89 one. Not all too sure on that. Of course, that McLaren there holding up these cars is now put right on the back now of this trio of the 3 fastest cars really in this championship. Although 2 of them really haven't shown up to any of the races, quite honestly. Now then, these cars here are so evenly matched as well. Once again, the Red Bull is going to try and stick it around our outside line. Once again, lucky it did last up because our car just absolutely dies in first gear. I don't know what it is with first gear in this Renault. It just absolutely does not work. I don't know if it's just because I use a controller or something. That might be the reason why. Once again, we hold it around the outside line, so pretty much do a copycat move of what we did the few laps ago before. Now then, these 3 cars here are so evenly matched since Ferrari used the F2002 for the start of 2003 season and won a few races there, so it's literally even with the BMW Williams. And we've got the 2004 Ferrari, which is, until we had the 2017 regulation changes, the fastest Formula 1 car of all time. And although it is faster than the 2 cars in front of it, I don't think it's significantly enough faster for it to be able to just charge its way past. But then we've got the Red Bull now gaining on the back. Now, of course, the Red Bull, they didn't have DRS, it will have cars in that since it's from 2010 and cars was a thing then. And it's going to try and go around the outside line now into turn 1. Once again, we have the inside line, going to try and stick it on the inside line, which we do just about find the group there on the inside line because the inside isn't the racing line, so they'll be getting all dirt on our tyres. And then as we come now through the S section once again, let's try and keep it here ahead of the Red Bull because through the first half of the lap until we get back to the hairpin, there's pretty much no way the Red Bull can make a way past us, even though it is so much faster through these corners. And looking a bit further back now, we've got the 92 Williams here, still on its charge now. I think it's caught up there to the 91 McLaren Honda. Of course, only a 1 year difference between these two cars, but the 92 Williams was one of the most aero-advanced cars of its time. It's going to make a move. Oh, these are now 130 on the McLaren tries to run outside line. There's contact! The Williams rose onto the grass, and the Williams is into the wall. The Williams race just goes from bad to worse. I mean, it was pretty much up into about, what, third, fourth place overall in C2. And just about manages to crawl its way now back onto the track, going really slowly there on the racing line. The Red Bull just misses it there. That must have been so close to contact. I'm pretty sure, how did that Red Bull miss the Williams, quite honestly? And Williams, it was only 1 point behind coming into this race in the championship, I think, behind the 98 McLaren with the mare the McLaren had in the previous race. And all that good work and all that luck, really, that the Williams had has been absolutely undone in this race. So it's pretty much going to be back now to as it was. But all the points, every place is critical now. As the Williams now gets a new front wing. Actually, there's quite a long front wing, actually, from how the streaks on it go. So which is very, very interesting aero design. I'm pretty sure Adrian Newey designed that, let's be honest, if it's full of aero. And the Williams are going to rejoin now onto the track. It might even be in last place, quite honestly, because then they had to now do a second fight back. Now it gets lapped by the 98 McLaren Mercedes. The championship rival for this car has now lapped it. And if that doesn't sum up the race this Williams has had, I think the 2019 Williams F1 car pretty much sums up the race the 92 Williams is having right here. Because he's got quite some notes to catch up to the car in front of it, which is another of the McLaren Hondas. Now looking a bit further on, we've got all of the other cars now coming in now to make a second stop now of the race. So all these ones do think that the tyres could stretch the way to the end of the race, but now we're actually going to stay out here on the track, try something very, very risky, and we're not going to come in now for another stop. So it's going to jump us up now into second place, I think, because the bronze is absolutely gone. And with the tyre wear, the tyres, of course, they still wear out, but the actual grip loss isn't really noticeable. It's pretty much like the tyres back from the 2005 season, where they could literally go on forever. So it's pretty much like that, but now this is the car I'm racing here, the Red Bull. I'm expecting the Williams and the Ferraris to streak straight back past me at some point. But if I could beat the Red Bull, then the strategy was worth it. So it's the Brawn that leads the way, quite unsurprisingly. From us ourselves in second, we're so far behind the Brawn as well. And in third is the BMW Williams, which is catching up to us, but it's not really catching up too much. We've still got a bit of time to it. And of course, then we've still got the two Ferraris behind it, who actually find themselves quite a bit of space out. So after the stop, after the final stop, I don't really know why they space themselves out so much. And here's the car I want to beat, the Red Bull, which is still quite some way behind us actually. So I'm pretty sure unless some tyres explode, we've got it beat. Then we have the 07 Ferrari, which is pretty much just in an absolute world of its own at this point. And then we have the 98 McLaren Mercedes, the leading car in C2, which is about half a lap down from the 07 Ferrari. And in second place in C2 is the 96 Williams, which is about half a lap behind the McLaren. I mean, this thing is only 2 years older than the McLaren, and it is so much slower. Now, talking of slow, we've got, is this a McLaren train? Three of them just found each other now, and now just completely stuck up behind each other. It looks like it. And actually, there's the McLaren Mercedes as well. So I'm just going to lap all three here of those McLarens. And as we come now into the hairpin and got, I think that's the 88 McLaren. I'm not pretty sure. And then we have the 92 Williams, which is on its now second fight back. I want to see if it gets any place before the end of the race. And then we've got the, this might be the 88 McLaren. I'm pretty sure the other one was the 91 McLaren. And then we have the lead of the C3 McLarens, which is the 1982 McLaren, I'm pretty sure it is, which is actually ahead here of the 95 Ferrari. Why is the Ferrari so far down? It must have had some kind of contact or something to be this far down the order. And then we have the 79 Ferrari, which is beating here the 78 Lotus, and actually not by too much, so some good pace in the race from that Lotus. And the next car is, well, it's definitely not me, it's the 76 Ferrari, which is honestly really slow. Not as slow as the cars that are behind it though. There's 72 Lotus here, which I'm pretty sure is probably a lap down from it, let's be honest at this point. In last place, this thing is genuinely going at full speed down the street right now. It's going at full pelt. And it has to be probably the slowest moving thing I think I've ever seen, quite honestly, in a race that I've commentated. Now it's coming up behind it, got another one of the McLaren Hondas, so the McLaren just shoot straight past it there. So once again, there's McLarens all over the place. Now then, Coming a bit further on now, only a few laps of race left to go. The Williams here were being held up behind one of the slower cars, which actually now brings back into play the 0-2 Ferrari here. Actually, a really nice view here of the front wheel. That's really what we want to be seeing here, with only a few laps of this race left to go. Now it's brought it back. These cars have spread out a little bit, but now we've got another slow car. We've got another McLaren here. It gets right in the way, so the gap that these two Ferraris had just closed. Two of the Williams has just, well, been completely. No, it's just opened up again. Apologies for my usual below par to usual commentary, but I am a little bit ill at the moment, so yeah, my mind's just a little bit all over the place at the minute. And this McLaren is not getting out of the way here whatsoever. Okay, there's a car off of the road as well. Then there's another one of the McLaren Hondas, so I don't know what happened there. And the Ferrari's looking very similar all behind each other now. The 04, it is faster than the 02, but not by a whole lot. Although by about, I'll say about a second or so, but in terms of outright acceleration straight line speed, not going to be nothing too noticeable. Let's go now to lap the 70. Let's go either side of the front. Good try go for a way on the side line. Now it gets boxed in though behind the Lotus, and now going on now into Spoon. The Lotus has nowhere to go, going on the grass, just trying to get out of the way somewhere. And it's the 2002 Ferrari that holds on in front. Now then the 04 here, it does actually now have some damage on its front wing. I don't know if it had that before. It's definitely got damage now, probably just ploughed into the back of the Lotus, let's be honest. So now I think the Ferrari now is going to have to be content now with the position that it's in, because even with front wing damage, and it being, well, supposedly the fastest car here, you can't compete with front wing damage. And we've got the Red Bull so far behind, so the Ferrari, honestly, it's just going to have to consolidate position now at this point. Now then, moving on to the final lap now of the race, and the Brawn is still leading the race, but this thing has been so unlucky so far in the championship. If it just blew up right now, honestly, I'd be disappointed, but I wouldn't be at all surprised. It's half a lap away now from victory. Now then, because this, in the real life 2009 Japanese Grand Prix, the Brawn didn't win. I'm pretty sure Seb Vettel did in the Red Bull, so this Brawn could accomplish something that it didn't do in real life against more fierce competition, quite honestly. And the Brawn, it's got a few more cars to lap here. It goes past one of the Lotuses there. It's got the 76 fly in front of it, and that should be the final car to lap up to the finish line. And coming up now into final chicane, the Ferrari gets nice and easy there out of the way. And through the final chicane, absolutely no problems there. And the Brawn, it hasn't blown up. We're coming up now to the finish line. The Brawn wins the Japanese Grand Prix to do something it didn't do in real life in absolutely dominant fashion. Oh, this is how far in front of us it was. And look at our tyre wear, 80% on both the front tyres here, so, and we're still in second place. So yeah, the car behind us have been catching, but not been catching by enough, and somehow the tyres haven't actually exploded yet. Like I said, the tyre wear, it doesn't really go off in terms of lap time, but the tyre wear is there. We're coming over the line now, we finally take our first podium of this championship. And now then, can we go for a win in the final race? Go one better, because it's gonna be the last chance for the final race next time. And we're just gonna have the podium now, where the Brawn seems fairly happy, and finally we get my guy on the podium there in second place now for the first time. And yeah, the Brawn pretty good there. Seem pretty happy with the victory, and honestly, why wouldn't they? The Brawn, what could have been for it in the championship if he didn't retire in the first two races? It could have been right up there. Either way though, a victory is a victory, and the whole crew there seem pretty happy with that. Taking a look at the end results, and the Brawn takes the victory nearly 30 seconds clear of ourselves. And running off the podium in third is the Williams. 2002 Ferrari comes home in P4 with the 04 Ferrari in 5th, Red Bull in 6th, and the 2007 Ferrari finishing last of C1 in 7th. And winning, unsurprisingly, in C2 was the 98 McLaren ahead of the 96 Williams and the 92 Williams, but actually a really good fight back rounds off the top 10. The 91 McLaren comes home in 11th ahead of the 88, and then taking honours in C3 would be the 82 McLaren, which at the end of the race still beat the 95 Ferrari, which had an absolute mare of a race. Then came the 79 Ferrari ahead of the 78 Lotus, Then the 76 Ferrari ahead of the 72 Lotus, which was actually the last of the finishes, 6 laps down. So of course, twice a longer race, twice as many times it's going to get lapped. Which led the 2008 McLaren, along with the 76 McLaren, both retired from the race. So the fast lap retirement was the 76 McLaren. And now moving on to the point standings ahead of the final race of the championship next time out, and the Red Bull has a 2-point lead over the BMW Williams, and the 2007 Ferrari has a slim chance of getting a championship in third, and we're in fourth, actually still within championship contention because you get 25 points for a win with this point system. So going into the final race of the championship, we have a 4-way championship fight. In the 2004 Ferrari is out of the fight in 5th ahead of the Brawn and the 02 Ferrari, and the 2008 McLaren which rounds out the top 8. And for the battle in C2, the 1998 McLaren has a 2-point advantage over the 92 Williams. Then down in C3, the 79 Ferrari has a 6-point advantage over the 78 Lotus. I'm pretty sure that's got things sewn up in C3. So don't leave a like if you enjoyed this video. Hopefully my commentary will be back to normal by next week. Remember to leave a comment on this video, subscribe if you're new here, and notification bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. And follow me on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. They'll be linked down in the description below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all next time.